Hi Monday everybody, Coach Tabor here at Afterburn Performance. Today we're going to continue our foam rolling series looking at the low back. So one thing about the low back is that we're trying not to hit too much on the actual spine itself and try to stick more into the muscles. This one is a little bit tender, so if you have something that's going to be more of a low back pain and you're worried about having any extra injury, make sure you really brace well during this one if you're going to try it. Otherwise, make sure you go check out a physiotherapist or a chiropractor to get adjusted and things like that. But if as long as you're not too sore and you want to give it a shot, then you should be good to go. So I'm going to get set up and then we'll get started. Setup wise for the low back, we want to get that foam roller right down by the lower part of our hips. So you can feel kind of that bony part up here. We're going to come right straight back there. And that's where the muscle tissue kind of connects to the actual hips, up and through your spinous processes and things like that. So we want to get ourselves on that spot, and then if I'm going to lean, in my case, to the left to try to hit that left side of the muscle tissue, the erector spinae muscles, the quadratus lumborum, and whatnot. So I'm going to place myself here. I want to use one hand here off the side to really balance myself. Right? You can use the other hand on the knees. You can put both hands in behind. Just make sure you're kind of bracing yourself as you go back and forth, so you don't put too much pressure, and you're not actually hitting the spiny processes as you go along. Now you're trying to continue to keep that midsection contracted, so that way we don't have ourselves just kind of arched over top like so. And roll back and forth. Now, once you hit that sweet spot, you can stick there. I wouldn't recommend a whole lot of arching and back and forth unless you feel comfortable with that, just because when people do that, they kind of lose that good positioning, and then they have to kind of flop all over to try to maintain that instead of actually hitting that tissue nicely. So maybe using a different tool that I'll post links to at the end, you might be able to do that a little bit better, but for now I would probably stick to just sticking there and trying to breathe deeply into the nose for 2 or 3 seconds and then blow out for another 3 to 5. That way you can get that really nice desensitization of that tissue, and it should work out relatively well for you. Awesome everyone, so that was the low back and how to foam roll that effectively. So remember, just make sure you keep yourself on the actual muscle tissue, leaning off to one side or the other to hit those erector spinae, quadratus lumborum, those muscle tissues, and not actually on the actual spine. There's some other great tools that you can use if you want to try them out. I'll put link a couple of them that you can use to try to hit this back area a little bit better than a foam roller, but it's a great place to start if you don't have anything that you can use or you don't want to put that investment into. So I'll see you next week for the next one. Coach Tabor here. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to stay up to date with what's going on at Afterburn Performance, please take some time, go like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. If you want to see more weekly content from myself here, Coach Tabor, then subscribe to our YouTube page and I'll be putting out videos weekly. Thank you so much for watching and have a great week.